Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion, and in this video I'll be talking about the recent clash between PSG and Barcelona in the UEFA Champions League round of 16. And so the scoreline in the end was very convincing and PSG won this game 4-1. And starting from how the teams stacked up, so with Barcelona it was a 4-3-3, and they had, when comparing these two teams, especially with the injuries that PSG had, not that Barcelona didn't have any, but I'm saying that clearly the ones for PSG were more integral to their team. And so PSG were the ones who kind of had to change their thinking going into this, whereas Barcelona could still kind of go about things, the way they had done, with a standard 4-3-3. And PSG actually played in a 4-2-3-1 with Mbappe on the left. And on the right, they actually had someone who, again, you wouldn't really attribute as a right mid. And I was surprised that they actually, played in the starting 11 at that position, because I thought when you have someone like a Sarabia, that who's, much more accustomed to playing in that kind of a position, I was surprised that Moise Kean played in right mid. And really, if you looked at what he did in the game, he actually just took shots here and there, and then he was finally rewarded in the 70th minute when Paredes hit the free kick and Keane headed it in. And so, again, there wasn't really much that he had to do apart from just take shots, but PSG in the end, it was a very good team performance and they won the game. And another thing that I thought was a very good move was the fact that Verratti played at Cam, and so this gave him this extra freedom for him to be attacking. And especially we've seen under Pochettino that domestically Verratti has been allowed to go further up the field even whilst playing as a central midfielder. And so playing as a Cam would kind of give him this further incentive and a further freedom to play a attacking role. And you saw with the first goal for PSG, he played that role brilliantly. And so that was something that was very good to see. And again, as I said, if you look at the injuries for PSG, Juan Bernat, who's integral to their defense, and Neymar and Di Maria integral to the attack. And so clearly PSG would have the harder task, especially going to the Camp Nou and, expecting to be in a decent position for, the second leg. And so they did exactly that. And so for Barcelona, I thought that the first half was actually a pretty even half for both the teams as far as to the opportunities that they had. Overall, the PSG did play better, but definitely, especially after the first goal that Barcelona scored, where if you saw Messi, especially in the first half, I thought he faded out in the second half, but I'm saying in the first half, he was actually playing deep, and he was allowing, Griezmann and other players to make runs forward. And you especially saw in the 14th minute when actually Messi passed it to Pedri, who then passed it to Griezmann, and Griezmann had an opportunity. He was onside and he could finish it with his left foot, but Keylor Navas saved it, and it prevented Barcelona from scoring early. But fortunately for them, especially it was kind of against a run of play as well, because PSG were, they were getting some kind of, I wouldn't say control, but they were going all right. And the thing is that Messi playing deep, he kind of played this long ball over to De Jong. And I really thought this was a very soft penalty. And Neymar, I apparently described it as a joke, and I kind of thought it was a joke because, you know, De Jong's studs kind of they hit Kozawa's knee, and De Jong fell over, and then a penalty was awarded. And the thing is, the commentator said that the laws take into account what happened, rather like the contact rather than the intent. And you could say there was contact there, but really, I mean, it's not like Kozawa was, try to tackle him or anything. I mean, he was just looking at the ball, and he didn't realize that, let's face it, it's a complete accident that really it could maybe, De Jong could maybe have stumbled and then fell over without any kind of a foul being called. But I'm saying, was it really something? In fact, it definitely wasn't something where you could just fall over and claim that you were fouled, because he really wasn't. And that's why it was a very soft penalty, and Messi took it brilliantly, hit it near the top right hand corner. and gave Barcelona the lead in something that was, against the run of play. Now, after this, it kind of both sides started getting opportunities, and the thing, PSG, they also had their fair share. I mean, the thing is, Icardi, I believe they could have actually gone 1-0 up, but then um, Mbappe passed it to Icardi, and I'm not sure if it was offside or onside, but either way, it was a terrible finish where there was also another one in the 50th minute where I'll get to, but really, he should have scored that, and it was such a tame shot. I don't exactly know what he did there in the end. And yeah, PSG really, they couldn't get a goal with an opportunity. If he was onside, it really should have been one for PSG. And that's the thing. It was actually the first half was very entertaining to watch, as it was an even contest, and the second half was entertaining in a different way because PSG showed their class. But especially after that Messi goal, there was a brilliant goal by Kylian Mbappe where Marquinhos played a long ball out, a ball out wide to Kurzawa. Kurzawa then played it to Verratti, and Verratti did this brilliant flick on which Mbappe somehow, he controlled the ball, and he managed to get past the defender and score. And so it was a very artistic goal. And I understand like the defending has been criticized in this game, but for that goal, it was like the pass that Kurzawa played to Verratti. I mean, if you're there defending in first person, I mean, you wouldn't really know what to expect. And this kind of an artistic move, especially you see how it actually unfolded with the pass from Marquinhos, then from Kurzawa, then from Verratti, and then the control for Mbappe to actually score the goal. Sometimes, as a defense, you just kind of have to think, it was a very good move. And yeah, PSG deserved to score that goal, and it was 1-1. And so there was also, an opportunity for Antoine Griezmann on the break in about the 37th minute where he was running up the field, and he tried to go across the goalkeeper with his left foot, and he just missed the target. And yeah, the thing is, it was actually both sides had opportunities. There was another opportunity for Icardi as well when then there was an opportunity for Keane, I think, in the 38th minute where he caught it really well. The keeper saved it, and then Icardi also. The thing is that it was actually one of the best caught headers I've seen. Like in a while, or probably even in me watching football, and even the commentator thought that it was in, but surprisingly it wasn't. And at halftime, the game, both the sides went into the halftime break with one goal each. And the second half, we kind of were looking forward to what would happen in the second half. And I honestly never really expected a 4-1 because, I thought that Barcelona would have still thought, despite the fact they didn't seem that convincing, I thought that they had one goal, and so maybe they would try and they would be able to keep things in control a little bit, but that really wasn't the case. And Mbappe had an opportunity in the 47th minute, and Icardi, here's the thing, he's actually been in very good form for the last 7 games, and he's actually got 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 7 games under Mauricio Pochettino. And so in this one, it was where he was literally one-on-one with the keeper, but rather than going for it himself, which would have been probably a certain goal, he passed it to the person next to him who had to go past another defender and didn't have a straight on angle. So it just spelled that they wouldn't score on that opportunity, and they didn't. And this was a chance for PSG to really start getting some ascendancy in the game, which they did deserve. And then Mbappe made it 2-1 in the 65th minute, I think, with Florenzi really, he ran up the field, perfectly weighted pass, and in the end, Mbappe was actually, I think it was Dest was the player who was near him, but in the end, Mbappe got he found himself, not really marked as such, and he scored, and it was 2-1, and then then he also had another opportunity at 60, and really, I honestly thought, with the way that Mbappe played today, I actually think it's the best game I've seen him play. And for me, he was even better than he was in the World Cup, because in the World Cup, we saw a lot of the time he relied on breakaways, to score or create opportunities. Whereas in this, he was constantly involved in the build-up play, and in that second half especially. and you even saw the way he scored that first goal. I really thought it was a very skillful performance from him, and then he thoroughly deserved the hat trick, and he got his goal in the 85th minute, which made it 4-1. Keane also got the third goal for PSG off a Paredes free kick, and by the time the fourth goal was scored, it was completely just a destruction, really. And I don't necessarily think Barcelona played badly, but I just thought in the second half they just felt powerless to stop a PSG that was on song. And I thought both the goalkeepers had they did all they could to keep their side in the game, and there's only one real blip, and that was Keylor Navas when I don't know what he was trying to do. I mean, it was such a dangerous thing because at that point PSG were 3-1 up. So if they were 3-2 and if PSG hadn't scored the last goal, especially considering what happened last time when Barcelona scored 6-1 in the second leg, you never know what would happen and maybe they'd be ruining that goal. And so that's the reason why I felt that he was very lucky that, the rebound of Griezmann didn't go in the goal. And apart from that, PSG, they thoroughly deserve to win this game. And they now go into the second leg with, I reckon they may have sealed the deal, because I honestly don't think that this Barcelona team is going to do what they did in, before. And again, no, I'm not writing them off, but I'm just saying there is a difference in, confidence. And the thing is, about Messi, and this is I think there was a pundit on air, and he said something which I have thought about before, and that is the fact that Messi, his work rate isn't really. There are a lot of games where he just fades out and he just walks around, and today was one of those games, and he is older now, and so he doesn't really have the work rate. And you're thinking, I mean, for me, I always thought if he went to City and played at right wing, there'd be someone like a Mahrez who runs around, and straight away, if you play Messi instead of Mahrez, which obviously you may probably fall for that temptation, you'd kind of see that despite Messi possesses all the skills, the play won't really flow as smoothly because you get someone who clearly doesn't have the work rate, and it sometimes may be a bit frustrating. And you see, especially in these games, he isn't really able to, despite how well he does in La Liga, he isn't really able to influence these bigger games because he honestly just he has skill, and he showed it with that long ball that he played to De Jong. But I'm saying that it's honestly like if you don't really have the work rate, sometimes it's hard to just thrive with skill alone. And it definitely has shown in the games where you've seen he's really kind of been a passenger, especially in this second half. And I'm not gonna, there's a thing where when your team is conceding goals, you kind of don't know what to do. But at the same time, a lot of times I really feel like he should have been more of a talisman for his team in these situations. And you look at the Messi versus Ronaldo debate, and for me, this is the reason why Ronaldo has the edge 100%, because he turns up in big games and, just his contributions really help his team. Whereas if you look at Messi in the bigger games, yes, he may get one contribution here and there, but really he doesn't do enough to really carry his team. And look, it's a team sport, you shouldn't really need to carry your team, but I'm saying that, and still, even then, with Ronaldo, maybe not now in Juventus, but when he was at Real Madrid, you saw all the other players pulling their weight as well. Whereas now in Barcelona, it seems like a very fragile group. And I also don't know what they're going to do, because the thing is, Messi may leave for free, and so then they won't really get any money off him. And if they could charge, if they could get a fee, then it would have been ideal for them to really look for someone else who's, I would say two very good players, and really balance the books a little bit. But unfortunately for them, if Messi does leave, and you think why would he stay, because let's face it, if they get knocked out in the round of 16 in the Champions League, they already didn't win this other domestic cup in Spain, and if they don't win La Liga, if Atletico Madrid win La Liga, then why would Messi stay? Because clearly they wouldn't. I mean, who are they gonna, after doing that, who are they gonna be able to convince to bring in a state of turmoil that they are in? And so that's why I'm saying that I probably think Messi will leave, but I'm saying it'll be hard for the bigger clubs to accommodate him. And especially look at PSG. you look at Di Maria and Messi, and some people may think, well, Messi obviously, but for me, who you look at what Di Maria does for PSG, he's also in the older side in football terms, and you see his age hasn't been a barrier. He's still been brilliant, and he still does. He stands out for PSG a lot, and honestly, um, if you see about like for how the build up play in game, who would I rather have, Di Maria or Messi? I would pick Di Maria because you know what he's gonna do, and he still does provide the work rate, and so that's why I'm saying it'll be very difficult when for other teams when there is this skill there, but I'm saying that if he isn't really prepared to do the hard yards, then teams may find it a bit inconvenient when playing Messi, outside of the skills that he has. And yeah, that's the thing. Is that the thing is that you I think I said before I was going to do a preview video of the Champions League clashes, and the reason why I didn't is because you look at the other clashes where I don't really know much about the other team, how they've been doing, and what happens is, so you even look at the Sevilla, Dortmund, and Porto, Juventus. So I don't really know much about what Sevilla have been doing in a way that I could actually talk about them, and even Porto, I completely don't know what they've been doing. And then in the end, I would have said, right, Juventus would beat Porto, and in the end, they didn't. And so it's like that's the reason why I thought that I would much rather do a post game review, working with the things that happened in the game, rather than just saying things when I don't really know much about one of the other teams, and then in the end they actually win the game. And so yeah, that's the reason why. And yeah, PSG won and 4-1, and let's see what happens in the second leg. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and please share this video with your friends. And remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?